Right.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. For those of you guys who do not know me, I'm Amoya. I'm the founder of Single Moms Do Travel, which is a community of amazing, inspiring single moms who have pushed past their limiting beliefs and created their dream lives through travel and living abroad. This is a new series we have on the channel where I am interviewing single moms all around the world and trying to find out about living abroad and travel life for single moms. So today we have Aliyah Santos on with us. She's a single mom of 4 and she is currently living in Mirleft, Morocco. So let me jump right in. What made you, Aliyah, decide to move abroad?
So I guess I wasn't really planning to move abroad. Our goal was to travel because I've wanted to travel since I was 15, and then I went on and had kids, and everybody said, "Oh, you can't do that. You know, you can't travel with kids." I had my first child at 18, so that kind of fell by the wayside. And then I decided that I wanted to travel. I'm not gonna conform to that idea that you can't travel with kids. And I started doing my research and found out other people were doing it. So we started traveling. We went to Iceland, and then we went to Spain and France and Portugal, and then we came to Morocco. And we liked Morocco so much that we stayed here. And then I got pregnant, and the rest is history, as they say.
We're going to get into that a little bit further along, because that is definitely something I want to ask about, is giving birth abroad, giving birth in Morocco, and how that is. Definitely going to chime in on that. And that brought me to my next question of, you know, why did you choose Morocco? Which you said you started off traveling, so it wasn't a decision of like, one day I'm moving abroad. Instead it was, I'm going to travel. Similar to my story, I didn't set out to move abroad.
Yeah.
I set out to travel, and then ended up falling in love with a few different places, but most recently married in Mexico, which is why we've been here for the last year. So
yeah.
Let me then ask, what made you stay in Morocco? What made you make a home base there? Which is basically what I'm assuming you have with Morocco. Because how long have you been in Morocco now?
Well, so we've been in Morocco since December 2018, basically.
Okay.
It wasn't, I don't think it was necessarily like a conscious, like I'm going to make a home base in Morocco. It was kind of, it's cheap to live here. And I didn't have, you know, when I started out, I didn't have a lot of funds anyway. So it was kind of just, we're here. It's good. It's a good place to be. We're in love with the beaches here, like the people, the atmosphere. So just, you know, I went to Italy after 3 months of being in Morocco, and I didn't want to do Europe. I didn't want to be there. And so hold on, I got to get my baby.
No worries.
Hold on, I got to get a baby.
Hi, cutie. She's so cute.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
So I guess the point also is just also for me, it's really comforting to be in an atmosphere where I am not the only person of color, where there's people who look like me everywhere.
Okay.
Like that is a really big thing for
I want everyone to hear that,
family.
because that cut out a little bit, but you're not the only person of color. Is that what you said?
Right. Well, I think it's very comforting for my family to be in an atmosphere where we're surrounded by people that look like us. And I think that was a big part of deciding to be in Morocco. It's been amazing. Like, you know, just not having to worry about any type of discrimination or anything like that. So that's a big part of why we're here, why we stayed so long.
That's definitely a comfort. And a lot of people don't realize that, but I think when you start traveling, before you start traveling, for people of color, you will recognize how important it is to just feel safe, to feel that no one's going to discriminate against you. You just feel, it's like I don't know how to explain it, but it's a big relief. You can actually relax a little bit, or a lot. So that was definitely something that drew me to Merida. Was, although it is predominantly Mexican, it's Mexico, we have a large Black expat community, which is not something I've seen on my travels. So that was really nice for me. So, okay, you talked about it being cheap. So can we talk a little bit about cost of living? Like, if you don't mind sharing, how much is your rent in Morocco?
For sure. So we've lived in a few different places in Morocco. We started out in Agadir, which is like a larger metropolitan city, and we were paying 2,000 dirhams there. So the currency here is dirhams. So it's about 10 dirhams to $1 roughly. So $200, 200 USD for Agadir.
Okay.
Other cities, like the bigger cities, will be a little bit more expensive, like Marrakesh or Casablanca. But then I'm sorry. So 2,000 dirhams where we were staying it was just like a 2-bedroom kind of random, it wasn't anything special, you know what I'm saying? Then we moved to Tagazout, which is it's a little fishing town. It's right on the beach. We were right next to the town square. It's a tourist town, but it was beautiful. It was probably my dream place to live, and that was $400 a month. And there was no internet included in that. That was $400. And then we came to Mirleft, and we have a 3-bedroom apartment with everything included, and including internet. And it's 2,200 dirhams, so $220 a month here.
Wow.
Yes, but Mirleft is a really tiny town. Okay. Sorry, Mirleft is a really tiny town, and there's really nothing to do here. Like there's the beach, and that's about it. So, a lot of there's a lot of expats in Mirleft. I don't know why everybody loves it, but it's really, it's great. It's great for the beach, but it's not so great for activity.
Activities, okay. So small town living, but for $220 a month is how much your rent is. People are always curious about the cost of rent, and they're so shocked to hear some of the rental prices you can have abroad, because it'd be really, really hard to find an apartment in the United States anywhere, or in Canada or in Australia for $220 a month. I don't even know if that's possible. But no. It's just crazy. People hear the prices and they just don't believe me. And I'm like, I'm telling you, I have friends that have places for like $80 a month, and cute places for like 100 and something a month. So, I mean, I know it, but I just always ask because people just have no idea so I want to ask about another question I get often is, what about schooling? You said you had 4 kiddos. What are you doing as far as schooling?
So we are unschoolers. We started off kind of trying to homeschool. Like we do a little bit here and there, but we are unschoolers. And my daughter right now, my 6-year-old she's reading. She's just like, she's working on her reading, but she started like, I guess it's been a long time since I've taught a kid to read because my kids are so spaced out, but she started reading, words, like not just little sounding out things. She's reading the whole words already. So she didn't have that pressure in school. My youngest son, he is like into everything. Like he wants to learn about everything. He wants to know everything. Like, how does this work? How does that work? So we're super unschoolers. Like we enjoy unschooling.
That's amazing. That's what we did and I guess we still do that, especially with quarantine right now. You are so cute.
Oh yeah.
You are cute. We went into.
She's got a fussy budget right now.
And that's okay. I get it. We'll do as many as we can do, and then it's okay. So did you get met with any concerns from family and friends when you decided to start traveling? A lot of us experience people not being very happy with our decisions.
Yeah. So one of the reasons though I did start traveling is because I went no contact with my mother, because she's pretty emotionally difficult to deal with. And she was the main person in my ear telling me you can't do that. And so I ended up going no contact with her, and I don't have the family to tell me like, hey, this is a bad idea. I don't have those people in my ear. All of my kids, their dads are really not involved. Like they're around, but they're not involved. So I didn't have anybody saying like, you can't do that. Like you can't take my kid out of the country, blah, blah, blah. my friends were all like really supportive, and I was actually surprised. Like a lot of them like, oh, you won the lottery, you're gonna go traveling the world, like what are you thinking, like what's going on? But nobody said, hey, you can't do that, or like it's impossible, like are you not scared, like, you know, nobody said that to me, and I thought that was interesting. So
That's awesome. That's good. A lot of people get a lot of criticism and, you know, all kinds of stuff. So it's great to hear that you did it. And yeah, that's added bonus. So let's talk a little bit about, because you said you gave birth abroad. So one of the questions I have is like, what about medical? A lot of people ask about medical insurance or medical care abroad. Can you give us a little bit of maybe just telling us about your birth story, giving birth in Morocco? So that cutie.
Okay, so so I don't have medical insurance for traveling abroad at all. I guess I was lucky when I was in Europe to not need medical care. And since we're in Morocco now, it's it's affordable, like medical care, super affordable. Like a doctor's visit is $20. So when I got pregnant, I really didn't do a lot of medical assistance. I was lucky to have a smooth pregnancy. And I kind of did unassisted pregnancy, which maybe is not ideal for everybody, but that was what I wanted, because actually in Morocco, there is a high instance of like forced C-sections. And so, yeah, so I wasn't going to go to the hospital for that. So I did an unassisted pregnancy, and I ended up giving birth at home, in my house, with just me. So that was fun. And I was going to have a support person, and I met her on Single Moms Do Travel as my support person, but she ended up leaving the day after, or the day that I had the baby, because her visa was about to expire and the baby was late. So it was a whole story. Yes. But so then after I had her, I did end up going to the rural hospital here in Morocco, and they were really nice. They were fine. I mean, there was no problems. I wouldn't go again. Like, but it was fine. And then a little bit after I had her, I also did have like a problem with my leg. Like I thought I was maybe going to have a blood clot, because I had a blood clot with my first child. And so I went to the hospital in the bigger city, and they were fine. It was fine. I paid out of pocket, and it was less than $300 for the whole thing. Like I had a lung scan, and I had like a bunch of like an electro something that they did to me, and it was less than $300 out of pocket. So it wasn't, it was good care, and it was not very expensive.
You're amazing. An unassisted birth abroad. When you
maybe a little crazy.
But this is the thing. Well, okay, yeah, we all are crazy though, if you want to like define it to the norm, right? But I have no desire to be part of the norm. Like, this life it doesn't mean our lives are perfect, that we don't have problems, that everything goes, it's all butterflies and rainbows, but it's all a part of this really beautiful journey, even the really tough times with all this. So I'm just like super amazed. And honestly, Mexico as well also does a lot of C-sections, a lot of forced C-sections from what I've heard. So it's interesting to hear that Morocco is similar in that. So that's super, super interesting. So
I wouldn't actually change the home birth. Sorry.
What happened? No, go ahead.
I just want to say that the home birth was super empowering. So even though that was like not something that I had planned for or something that I was like wanting to do, it was really amazing. Like I've never felt so empowered in my life to be able to do that,
You sound like, so my friend Colleen, she's actually a guest speaker in my Inner Circle membership site. If you guys want to know about the Inner Circle, look in the description. There's a link to that. But she talks about this. She had a home birth, and she just talks about, she's actually a coach now, but how magical and empowering it was to be able to do that. And she explains it in a way that makes me want to go have another baby just so I can experience this super empowering experience. Like, it's just like, I'm so drawn to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just sounds like, oh, it sounds amazing. So I'm so happy to hear that that went well. And it just, I mean, you're a total badass. I just love hearing stuff like this.
Thank you.
That brings me, you're welcome, to the question of, are you a part, because you said there was a mom or someone that was helping you, was going to help you with the birth, but she had to leave. But are you a part of a community there in Morocco, would you say?
So hold on. Let's try out, I swear. So we're kind of friendly with our landlords. It's really hard to communicate because we don't speak Arabic. I mean, we've picked up on, a few things here and there. So what happened was we came here because of another single mom that was here originally, and then she decided to leave, and we kind of didn't get along with her. And then we have now we have Eileen. So she came down, and we have been chilling with her. So we kind of have, it's just us two, but it's fine. Yeah. We have my neighbor who's from Italy, and we talk to her, and we cook with her and do whatever with her. But I wouldn't say we have so much of a community. In Mirleft. In Tagazu, we did have more of a community, and in Agadir, there's more people, there's more things to do. Here, there's not so much. But that's, I'm kind of an introvert, so I'm not bothered by that.
Yeah, no, understandably. And you have someone there. People ask this because they're worried about being alone in another country as a single mom. In the event that something happens to you, whether you have to be hospitalized or something like that, is there somebody who could kind of help you out in a situation like that? And it sounds like you have another mama there, another single moms do travel member. You have a neighbor that kind of can help you out in the event that something happens. So it's a small community. I always say, like, you have one or two people that, to me, that's still a community that you've been able to create abroad, which is amazing. So I think that's a big fear of a lot of single moms, being away from their family and friends and being alone, and then something happening, or just needing someone to talk to, even if you're an introvert, every once in a while, it's nice to talk to another adult. You know what I mean? It's nice to have a drink. I
would think that, sorry.
No, you're fine.
You like talking over each other. But I would think that like I did Workaways when we first started. I did Workaways, and I did a lot of couch surfing, and I host couch surfers. But I think that that's like a really great opportunity for people to get to know other people. Like that was when I was in Europe, that was like my lifesaver. Like we were doing a Workaway, so we're staying with a family and like really creating a connection with that local family instead of just being tourists, So that was really, I still talk to the girl that we did a Workaway with in Portugal. And I was actually on my way to Portugal to go and stay with her for another go round when this whole COVID thing hit. So, creating connections through different opportunities is a really good way to not feel alone while you're, a single mom on the road.
Yeah, and I think that part of what makes travel so powerful and so life-changing is the people you meet. If I could say one thing, it's the people that you meet that you would have never met had you not left your city, your country, your state, or whatever it is. Right. Like you meet the most beautiful souls on the road. I also have hosted couch surfers. I also couch surfed once, I think. It was actually in the States, and I was so scared to do it, but it was the best experience. We were actually only supposed to stay one night. We stayed two. You also mentioned Workaway, which is a great way for people who are on, especially a smaller budget, to get some free accommodations in exchange for some. Maybe you help out with childcare, maybe you help out with cleaning. Definitely. Maybe you have specific things like writing or website, whatever you can do to help someone else out. You can actually find out Workaway on the Workaway website. I'll link that below too. So was there anything, before you started traveling, did you get inspired by anything? For me, I got inspired by one of Lainey Liberty's talks, a TED talk I saw on World Touring. But did you stumble upon any Facebook groups, any blogs, any YouTube channels that kind of gave you this idea of traveling? Or was this something that you just always wanted to do and you didn't really look into it, you just went for it?
Well, so no, like I said, when I was 15, I wanted to travel the world. Like I had a map of every place that I was going to go, like circled on the map of, but then what really started me into traveling was that I hosted a couch surfer, and they told me about Workaway. So once I heard about Workaway, I said, oh, well, if I don't have to pay for accommodation, like I can afford to go, like I can afford tickets. I just can't afford to stay in a hotel for weeks on end, So once I heard about that, I started researching that. I started finding, the world schooling. I had never heard of world schooling before. But once I got that like accommodation piece thought out, like I found your group. I found ultra budget, low travel. I found, whatever the group was, I was joining it. I was figuring it out. So yeah, I did a lot of research before I started. Traveling, but I was like, once I knew that I could find a place to stay without having to pay thousands of dollars, like it was on, like I was gone. I was ready.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think a lot of people don't realize, because one of the biggest expenses you're going to have is accommodations and flights, right? But if you slow travel, that can cut down on flights and stuff like that. If you travel to places nearby and you look for good deals, all that good stuff. Accommodations don't have to be expensive if you utilize Workaway. There's great monthly discounts on Airbnb, can be crazy discounted. So there is lots of ways to get, like hotels, actually not probably. Like a lot of people think in terms of vacation though, like 1 week in a hotel costs all this, like we're not paying that. You know what I mean? Like we are not paying hotel prices. That's not sustainable. So you can do travel on $1,200 a month. I know lots of moms whose budget is $1,200 a month, $1,000 a month. You have to be I don't want to say meticulous, but you have to plan, you have to slow travel is key. Like jumping from place to place is really hard on the budget, but slow traveling is great. Spending months in one place before moving on, looking for deals, working out long-term rentals or doing workaways. It is beyond possible. So many people doing it. What would you say is your biggest challenge with traveling and living abroad as a single mom? And there might not be any. I mean,
I guess. Well, right now it's what am I going to do next? Because I don't have a home base to go back into in the U.S. So right now we were supposed to leave Morocco because now I'm super over my visa, having the baby and trying to get her passport to go. So we were just about to leave and like figure out what we're going to do, and now we're stuck here maybe till September. So right now it's just thinking about like where will I go if we're not allowed to travel, if we're not going to be able to travel like before, because we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
but I guess other than that, my baby is being stolen from me. I guess the challenges would maybe be just financially. Like I didn't have anything really set up when I left. Can you please stop, please? Thank you. And I used my tax return to leave. So when I got taxes in 2018, I was out the door, but I didn't really have anything like going for me. So just setting up that business and like believing in myself enough that I can do this and that I can make my own business and keep it going, probably was really challenging for me. But I'm, slowly, step by step, I've been doing it.
So what are you doing for work? Because that's something I probably forgot to ask, and I think I know, but for the audience, like what are you doing to now finance your travels? Because you said you didn't really have a big savings, and you had your tax return and you kind of took off. So how have you been able to, no savings? Okay, good. This is what people need to hear, because a lot of people think they need they ask me all the time, how much did you have saved up before you took off? And I said, 0. But that was because, not that I advise that, it is because I was retired from the military a long time ago, so I did have a guaranteed check, and I knew we weren't going to starve. Other people didn't necessarily, but they still took off. So I'm always curious to hear, how are you able to sustain your life abroad? What are you doing to create money, a location-independent income?
Yeah, so I'm just a freelance writer, so I write whatever anybody sends me, and I can make a little hustle off of. I've tried sorry, my daughter is like, she really wants to be on here.
That's okay.
So yeah, you want to say hi to the people? Say hi. This is one of my kids. This is Jasleen.
Hi, Jasleen.
So yeah, so I just see, she said hi. Okay, can you please settle? So yeah, I'm just writing whatever I can get, and I'm hopefully trying to establish connections with other people to try to get more work and maybe make, I don't want to say like make a name for myself, but kind of, like be out there and like, hey, she's a freelance writer. If you need help, contact her.
Yeah. Okay.
So
this is good to know. I'm always curious.
Trying to build connections.
Yes, building connections is super important, and we're almost done. We only have 2 more questions, and I will let you go. How has travel?
No, it's okay.
I know, but we're single moms. Like, this is the reality. We're single moms. We've got our kids. It can be done. There are certain little challenges in that. It's beautiful. It's fun. It's crazy. It's wild. It's all the above. This is the reality. It's totally awesome.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't change it for anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. I tell people all the time, like, people are like, oh, single mom life is so, and I'm just like, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of loving my life. I do, and it's hard. Sometimes I try and remember, because there definitely was a time when I was a single mom, when I was living back in the U.S., when I didn't necessarily love life, and life was very hard. And I don't know how to explain it, but I found freedom through travel and living abroad. It's this sense of, I can't explain it. I'm in a bubble. I'm not really affected by the craziness that was happening back in my old life. And single mom life became a lot easier when I started traveling and living abroad. So I wanted to ask you, how has travel and living abroad changed you and your family? Like, has it changed you and your family? Or how has it?
I think we're just a lot more free. Like, we feel freedom. And like I mentioned before, being in Morocco, being around people who look like us has just been like, for me, healing. Like, not having to worry about discrimination, like not, walking down the street and fearing, somebody is going to talk to somebody. Other than that, like I struggle a lot in my life because of family issues. And I feel like being on the beach is my safe place. So having the freedom to, like, be someplace affordable where I can be a single mom, I can be a good mom, like I can focus on being a good mom and not have to worry about rent and bills and, going to work every day. Like, that has just been the most beautiful thing ever, I couldn't do this. I couldn't be a good mom if I lived in the United States. Like, it's just impossible at this point, There's so much to worry about. There's so much pressure and stress. And here we just live stress-free. We're just us. We do us. We don't have to worry. So
I love it.
That would be my answer.
I feel it. So that's the last question I have for you, which is, what would you tell another single mom who wants to travel, who wants to move abroad, but doesn't know where to start?
I would tell her just to go for it. Like, find it someplace. Like, don't be afraid, because you can do it. And even though, it might be hard at first, you might struggle a little bit, like you'll get it as you go along. So just if you want to live someplace cheap, come to someplace cheap and you'll figure it out when you're getting going. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. Go for it. Thank you so much, Aliyah. Yes. And thank you all for tuning in today with this brand new series, so you can see the reality that you can move abroad, you can travel as a single mom, and you can create your dream life with freedom and joy and happiness. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Until next time.
All right.